Management consulting. So I want to cover every important topic there is to cover in business throughout this course. And so today is a good segue to talk about management consulting. So we've gone public. Okay, we're very successful. Okay, but we have some issues with our company, and we need help. And so we're going to hire McKinsey to help us out. Okay, and so in this class today, you're actually consultants. Okay, you were analysts before, investment bankers, whatever. Today you're going to be a consultant, and consultants are companies that use a lot of different frameworks to analyze problems and suggest solutions for the companies that hire them. Okay, it's a big business, and I used to work for Accenture many years ago, and I loved it. I loved it. And so these analysts or these consultants will help you analyze companies. And today you're actually going to analyze a company called Oracle. Oracle actually just hired you. You work at McKinsey. They hired you to analyze their company. And so Oracle used to be a great company. It's now a tech relic. It's an old school software firm. They don't have the best cloud technology. How can they compete? How can they be relevant longer term? I mean, Oracle has issues. Cloud computing companies like Salesforce are basically eating their lunch. And so Oracle really needs your help. And so, again, cloud computing companies are really hurting them, especially Salesforce, which is the largest employer now in San Francisco and the most disruptive technology company in the world, in my humble opinion. And Salesforce is only going to get stronger. In fact, Salesforce is building the largest building in the history of San Francisco. It's called Salesforce Tower. And it's going to be way, way bigger than the Transamerica Tower or the Bank of America Tower, which you can see both those buildings in the picture. The pointing one is the Transamerica Tower. And the big brown one over there in the distance is the B of A or Bank of America Tower. And so strap in, get ready. This is a real life simulation. Do you want to be a consultant? You might know after today's session. Okay. So again, today you work for McKinsey. Okay. And again, consultants use frameworks to analyze problems. And as I reflect upon my business degrees that I've earned over the years, like a Bachelor of Commerce and an MBA, after each class or course I took, I tried to take with me one framework, and I wrote them down. I still have them with me today. And I've actually included it in many of these lessons today. And so what we're going to do is we're going to look at many of those frameworks today. And we're going to analyze Oracle. So the reason that consultants are hired is because their clients cannot solve extraordinary complex problems, or they're biased, or they're too bureaucratic and too political, and it's easier just to outsource it for somebody else to make the hard decisions, such as letting certain departments go. Okay, so can we help Oracle stay relevant? Can you, the consultant? Okay, let's do this. Let's begin. So before we dive in deeply here, I want to tell you a little bit more about Oracle. Okay, so what does Oracle do? Well, Oracle makes database technology. Okay, that's at the bottom of the picture there. Okay, and databases is basically where data is stored. Okay, data is stored. And on top of that database at the bottom of the picture there, in the middle, you've got infrastructure software, right? Which basically tells the database data where to go. And Oracle has a division called BEA that they purchased in, I think it was early calendar 2008. And on top of that, there are a bunch of applications. And those applications, think of it as Microsoft Office for the corporation. Instead of having Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, there are applications that runs financials, accounting, human resources, industrials, manufacturing, all that stuff. And all those companies, PeopleSoft, you see there on the logo there, Siebel, and Hyperion, all these companies are great companies that Oracle bought. Why? Because they don't have that much organic growth. And so all that stuff is software. And it runs within that gray box there, which is a hardware company that they bought in 2009, a hardware company called Sun Microsystems. Oracle makes all these acquisitions because they're not really growing anymore. So they kind of have to. And there's a lot of competitive threats. You'll see it on the right-hand side of that slide there. There's competition from Hadoop, which is basically an open standards technology. I'm not going to talk tech too much. There's competition from Amazon Web Services. In the last chapter of this book, I'm going to talk a lot about Amazon Web Services, which is the most important technology that exists out there. I don't want to ruin the surprise. You can see that in chapter 15 or class 15. And of course, there's a lot of competition in the apps market from Salesforce. Okay, now we know what Oracle does. So let's talk about the total addressable market for the consulting industry. So the global addressable market for the consulting industry is $420 billion annually. That's how much is spent on consulting every year. It's a massive market. And in the United States, the TAM, or the total addressable market, is $165 billion. And there's 130,000 firms that operate in the consulting industry. That's a lot, okay? The big ones, the most successful ones, are the strategic consulting firms, like McKinsey, or Boston Consulting Group, or Monitor, or Bain and Company, which you've heard of. That's where Mitt Romney worked. And then there's technology consulting firms like Accenture, where I worked before I did my MBA. And then IBM has a great consulting group as well. IBM used to be a hardware company. Now it's a software and consulting company. And so in terms of types of management consulting firms, there's management or strategy consulting, there's financial consulting, there's IT consulting, and there's human resources or staffing consulting. And so strategy consulting firms will solve problems like this. Should the government bail out Ford? Should a restaurant change the menu? Should a hardware company divest a division that's not making money? Financial consulting companies can give advice like help you prepare financial statements, help you prepare environmental regulation impact studies, or should two big accounting firms merge? Okay. IT consulting, and these are examples of real projects I worked on when I worked at Accenture back in the mid-90s. Okay. I worked on the merger of B of A and Nations Bank, right? There's a big technology integration. We had to merge databases and all that stuff. And it was a lot of fun. We set up an offshore bank in Barbados for CIBC, which was a lot of fun as well. I obviously thoroughly enjoyed that, although we worked very long hours. And then I set up, or helped to set up, I was on a team that set up online banking access for Bank of America. And then I also set up Accenture's first Internet R&D center along with a bigger team back in the mid-90s. I was just a junior guy at that time there. And then HR staffing companies. Things that they look at are, should you outsource hiring? Should you outsource retirement benefits? And should you let people go? Not easy.